AJ Goodrich. I am a part-time instructor here at AI. I teach film history and intermediate editing. Documentary was my graduate thesis, and I'm working on finishing a feature version right now. It's called The Road Less Traveled By, and it's about my experience. I walked across the country from Los Angeles to New York, talking to people about gay marriage and queer identity in America along the way. And it's also kind of my own personal story and coming of age journey. It's kind of a funny story. I was engaged to a guy in New York. We'd met when I lived in New York, and then I moved out here for grad school. So we had a long distance relationship. We got engaged, and I was going to walk across the country to get married to him and make a documentary about that. And kind of when I first came up with it, it was going to be this like epic sort of romantic journey. And then we broke up like 2 months before I was supposed to leave. And I still really wanted to do the walk. And it's interesting because the film turned out very differently than I think it would have been had we stayed together. And I think it's actually more interesting because of it. Because it starts out about gay marriage, but then becomes much more about kind of finding yourself and finding your own road in life, and dealing with kind of loss and love and relationships and growing up. So many. It was just insane. It was an insane movie to make. And you know, like, I had a small crew with me, and it shifted over the course of it. Only my straight best friend from college and I made it from start to finish. There were never more than 4 of us at a time, but there were 8 of us in total who did part of it. And one of the hardest things was just the crew changes, and we kept losing people for one reason or another. One of our producers, her mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, so she left to go take care of her. We had a cameraman have a heart attack, and he had to leave. We rescued a dog, and he was with us from Alabama on, which was its own kind of set of challenges. There were, you know, blisters and shin splints and chafing and backaches, and we were living in this RV, which was kind of crazy with 4 people in a tight space. Got kind of dramatic at points. And we had crazy weather along the way, like winds that would push you into the road in New Mexico, and there were record wildfires in Texas and historic flooding right when we got to Mississippi, heat wave and tornadoes in the south. You know, it was really wild. We went through a lot. In part, just my own stubbornness. I decided to do something, and so like once I set my mind on it, I just wasn't going to give up. So that was part of it. Part of it was I felt like I had an obligation because of the people that we talked to along the way. I felt like I had an obligation to the crew and to grad school to finish the movie. But also, there's no way I would have gotten through it if it hadn't been for my best friend Mark, who was with me the whole way. He was just kind of my right-hand man, and really got me through a lot of tough times. Well, I mean, we got each other through, because he had some moments too. But yeah, we kept pushing each other. entire journey took 8 months from start to finish. We'll see. I hope big theaters. Like I don't think it'll have like a huge theatrical run or anything. What I'm hoping for is I'm editing right now. I'm close to finishing editing. It's taken 3 years to finish the movie. In part because of the amount of footage. We had 400 hours of footage, which is crazy, and it's taken a long time to kind of shape a story out of that. But I'll be done with that this year. I'm hoping to submit to festivals and kind of hit all the big festivals, all the documentary specific ones, all the kind of LGBT specific ones. And so it may be seen for a wide audience there through festival screenings, but ultimately I'm aiming for like independent distribution and to try to get it to like Netflix or the HBO documentaries would be great. I think the real message of the movie is that everybody kind of has their own path in one way or another, but it's important to find yourself and be honest with yourself, and in the end, love is the most important thing